So I've established a couple of things here, and yes, I know for those, and then I'm going to get the email that said, why are you spending so much time on this, Stigall, if you think it's just not that big a deal? Because I know it's a big deal to some. And I want to be respectful of the fact that this is a big deal to some of you in this audience. You're concerned about it, and I don't want to sound dismissive of that either. But I want to explain where your host is coming from, because I think this is something we got to deal with head on, and I think that everybody needs to be very, very eyes wide open about what's going on. I've been warning for a while now that I believe that there is a very subversive and divisive entity or entities inside our tent. Whatever that means to you. Again, I can't really define it specifically. I will just say broadly, I believe that there are a lot of entities, and people say, name names. I don't need to name names because you're smart. You know who I'm talking about. It doesn't really matter. I'm not going to get into personality slap fights with a bunch of people. I'm just saying, take stock of the number of people you know who are of some prominence, who have big social media accounts or big followings or big YouTube channels or whatever. Take note of them and where they were and where things stood when Kamala Harris was our pretend vice president and running against Donald Trump. And I want you to remind yourself I want everybody to just take a breath and remind ourselves where we were when that phony, stupid old man that wasn't running the country, but rather a bunch of subversives around him were ruining it and using him as the vehicle to do so, and that phony vice president who didn't have a brain cell in her head and had no business pretending to be vice president, never mind dog catcher, was pretending to be the nominee for the Democrat Party and running a campaign against him, and they raised over $1 billion and tried to kill the man on top of that. And I want you to remember where you were with that and where I was with that and where most of these people today who are on social media and on social platforms attacking, and that's the only word I can use, attacking him and attacking this administration over this Epstein thing. And I want you to ask yourself, of everything that we have gone through to get to the place where Donald Trump is the president again, everything specifically he's gone through to be president again. And in the 6 months that he's been in the job so far, all that he's accomplished, the extraordinarily tough deals and decisions that he's made, extraordinarily tough, and the opposition that he has faced, the sacred cows he has gone after that no one else has dared touch. He's done it. He has walked into the breach. He has walked into the fire time and again. He has taken literal fire time and again because he believes that much in trying to course correct and save this country. When his home was raided, I told you, those of you that know this show, that was a deal breaker for me. That act alone by our former DOJ, when they decided to raid the man's home as a former president, I said that is something that can't be allowed to stand. If we allow that to stand as a country, the country is gone. And I assume most in this audience agree with that assessment. So I just think it's important to pause today and reflect and remember where we've been, where we just came from, all that we've been through, all that Donald Trump has been through to get to just this 6-month mark and all that's been achieved. The remarkable nature of this just 6 months. And so now it's been released or stated or whatever that the Jeffrey Epstein files or list or whatever has not come to fruition. Pam Bondi, for whatever inexplicable reason, I don't know. I don't know the woman. I don't know her heart. I don't know her capabilities. I don't know. She was Donald Trump's pick. Donald Trump continues to stand by her. Not sure why. I'm not nuts about her. I don't think she's a great communicator. I could do without her. I think the one flaw in Donald Trump's presidencies, both of them now, have been his pick for Attorney General. Sessions was a swing and a miss. Bill Barr wound up being a swing and a miss. So far, Pam Bondi appears to be a swing and a miss. And it's not even because I don't think Pam Bondi can do the job. She got out over her skis. She got out in front of something that I don't think she should have. She brought a bunch of social media influencer types to Washington, D.C. and pretended to have the goods on Epstein. And there are a lot of people in this audience. I don't know how many. I can't quantify it. And again, I don't think most of this audience is spending most of their day obsessed on this one story. But I know there are a lot of you that care about it. I know personal friends that care about it, okay? So I want to be sensitive to that. You care deeply about this. And you say, well, don't you, Stigall? Of course, anytime a child is victimized, I care. Of course I care. Like, let's not assassinate one another's character because we don't rank every issue as of paramount importance as you might. Okay? All of us have different priorities, different goals and objectives. But, to suggest you don't care about raped children because you may not prioritize this Epstein file story as the most important thing facing the country, and I don't. Let me say that. I don't. I think of all the things this country is facing collectively, I don't think Jeffrey Epstein, a dead pedophile, is the biggest one. In fact, I said yesterday on X, for me, this is not a top 10 item. There are some of you, for various reasons, whatever those may be, personal or what have you, there are some of you, this is the most important thing in your day. It's what gets you up out of bed and drives you. And you were told, or you felt you were promised, that the goods were going to be delivered and we were going to have this huge expose a la Chris Hansen and Dateline. And names would be dropped and released, and we were going to have a massive roundup because there have been people in my business who for years now have been promising you that behind the black curtain with just the right person is going to be a list of names that will be exposed to all of us, and the world will finally know that the world's most powerful people are a bunch of child perverts, pedophile predators. And we're going to get this long list of names, and we're going to frog march them all to jail, and it's all on a list, a hidden list, that's hidden at DOJ, and we just need Donald Trump to win so that Pam, or whoever, his attorney general, who wound up being Pam Bondi, is going to go in there and reveal the list. Now, Elon Musk keeps getting on social media and saying that he knows people on the list. And to that I say, Mr. Musk, if you know something, then by God, be a man and produce it. Okay? I'm getting a little tired of Elon Musk saying who's on the list and who's not on the list. If you think you know who's on the list, say it. And one of the people he suggested yesterday is on the list. A list, by the way, you are taking as an article of faith exists. I want you to know that. And I think we should all be honest about that. We have been telling ourselves, and many people in my business have been telling their audiences for a long time, that there is a list. There's a list. We're all waiting for this magic list, this Willy Wonka list. And then people say, well, Pam Bondi said. She said it's on her desk. We played what she explained was the file was on her desk. She didn't mean to confirm there was a list, but rather there was a file. A lot of you don't believe that. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. You don't believe it. You don't need to believe it. I don't need you to believe it. I'm not going to try to convince you otherwise. You believe there's a list. Elon says Steve Bannon's on the list. I think that's actionable by Steve Bannon, by the way. If Elon Musk thinks Steve Bannon is on a list, he better be. There better be one, because to say publicly that there's a guy that's out there having underage sex on an island courtesy of a dead pedophile, and that's not happening, get yourself an attorney, because Elon Musk has got some deep pockets. That seems defamatory to me. Does Elon have, Eddie, you know what I'm saying? Like, if there's a list and Elon's seen it, then by God, he should produce it. And I mean today, right now. Yes?
Yes, of course. Absolutely. Yeah.
Especially so do we just keep doing this flirting thing on social media?
It's not helpful.
Is so-and-so on the list? Is maybe who's on the list? Like, are we going to keep playing this game? If you know something, then say it.
I agree.
Dan Bongino. You think all of a sudden Dan Bongino has become a member of the FBI and has become a total sellout? Is that what you think? Maybe you do. I'm not inclined to castigate Dan Bongino because I happen to know the man. I do have a bit of at least professional friendship with him. I've known him for a long time. I think he's a guy of integrity. I don't have any reason to doubt otherwise. As I said, I'm not particularly impressed with Pam Bondi. So Donald Trump gives this answer yesterday when he's asked about this, and it's flippant and he's pissed. And in turn, this pissed a lot of you off. And I heard about it. I can't believe Donald Trump answered the question about the Epstein thing that way. How dare he dismiss our concerns? And I simply said, I understand it, actually, for all the reasons I just laid out. President Trump has accomplished a tremendous amount in a very short period of time. Chief among them, and I think it's important we remind ourselves of this and we don't forget it. President Trump has kicked men out of women's sports and women's personal spaces and women's locker rooms. President Trump has kicked anti-Semites off of college campuses. He has castrated activist college campuses from he has castrated children's hospitals from butchery on children. He's protecting women and children through executive action. And some would say yesterday that because this Epstein information didn't come out to their satisfaction, I guess they're saying, and Fast Eddie here again, this is my challenge, you need to say what you mean. Just like if Elon says there's this secret list that he knows people are on, then he needs to produce it. He needs to state how he knows that. He needs to show evidence of it. I assume if there's really a list, somebody snapped a photo. Okay? I mean, produce it. Put up or shut up. Pam, if you believe there's a list, Pam Bondi's not the only one with access to it. She's not the only one that's seen it. So put up or shut up. Now, let's also say what we mean here, folks. If you think that there's something that someone like Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are sitting on that they're not allowing you to see because they're protecting someone, then you believe Trump is part of that. And are you prepared to say that? Maybe you are, and that's okay. That's where you and I will part. I'm asking Trump voters, do you believe at this hour Donald Trump is capable of sitting on a list of names of people who have had child sex? And he's protecting them for any number of various reasons. Do you believe that's true? Oh, sure, the left believes that's true, but do you? If you do, you should say it. Quit being cute and just say it. So, Donald Trump has accomplished all of these tremendous things, including protecting women and children through executive action, forced children's hospitals and colleges to take action to protect women and children. And some would say yesterday, he's hiding a list of people who are preying on children for sex or something. And there may be some of you in this audience that believe that's true. Again, I'm not trying to tell you how to feel or talk you out of anything. You're entitled to feel any way you want. And of course, then I was accused of being a paid shill for the White House, or okay with pedophilia, which is, of course, a natural distinction, delineation to draw. Way to connect those lines. It's just, that's so, you've lost the argument if that's where you're debasing the conversation. So Donald Trump answers this way yesterday, and some of you got angry about it. 2841, if you would.
Worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former labor secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of his death?
Yeah, sure.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
Okay, and he goes on. Now, this made some people very angry. Fast Eddie, I'm told some people were very angry with Donald Trump for that answer. And let me just tell you this about that. I totally understand his anger. Because unless you believe he's part of some grand cover-up and conspiracy, which I just don't, and if you do, then fine. Again, I can't talk you out of it, and I'm not interested in really talking to you anyway. If that's what you believe, then you're gone already. That's fine. But if you're here and you're trying to sort this out, let me ask you something. Donald Trump has taken bullets, been threatened with jail, had his home raided, and accomplished an amazing amount of things in 6 months' time, including protecting women and children. There's a massive flood with 160 people missing in Texas as we speak. He's trying to broker Middle East peace. He's trying to stave off nuclear holocaust with Iran. He's trying to save the economy. He's locked down the southern border. And somebody goes, yeah, but about the Epstein list. I can imagine I'd be pissed if I'm him, Fast Eddie. I can imagine being pissed. Are you telling me, of everything I've done and everything on my plate right now, that's what you want to talk about?
You're right. There's still
I get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That doesn't mean that I think the story doesn't stink to high heaven. That doesn't mean that I don't think there's more information to be told. That doesn't mean that I don't think information was hidden and destroyed. I don't know anything about it. But I think we should be very, very clear if we are, in fact, Trump supporters anyway. Now, if you're not, that's law. And the left wants to come between Trump and his support. Understand that. The subversives in our audiences, as well as on the left, want to come between you and Donald Trump. That's their goal. And if they can use this as a reason to do it, that's what they'll do. It's not going to work on me. I'll just say that. It's not going to work on me. If you want to spend your time doing that, find another show.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.
It's Chris Stigall, and you're watching the Answer Now TV.